it's kind of chilly today, but at least the sun's out, I guess. And what did I read today? This was a follow-up story, I believe, of that student that was convicted, I guess you could say, of trying to make drones for, quote, terrorists, if that's what you want to say. This one says, Mohammed Al-Bard, student jailed for life for building IS drone. Wow, what a punishment, huh? An engineering student has been jailed for life for building a kamikaze drone for use by the so-called Islamic State terror group. Mohammed Al-Bard from Coventry hoped the device would deliver a bomb or chemical weapon. He was convicted in September of preparing acts of terrorism, sentencing him Birmingham Crown Court to a minimum of 20 years in prison. Judge Paul Ferrer KC said Al-Bard was a committed extremist. Al-Bard, 27, from Care Road in Coventry, had planned to join IS in West Africa. He was told by the judge, "I have no doubt that you are still today a supporter of Islamic State. It is impossible to say whether you will ever surrender your extremist views. You are a dangerous offender from whom the public requires protection," he added. "Your preparations were undertaken with a view to endangering multiple lives." Al-Bard had denied supporting IS despite the device being found in a bedroom at his Coventry home along with a 3D printer capable of making parts for it. That's kind of an odd statement there. I would imagine almost every 3D printer would be capable, isn't it, of making any type of part that you want per se. It says prosecutors told the court the single-use weapon that had a range of up to 5 kilometers was designed to deliver a chemical weapon or some other kind of device in IS enemy territory. Observing the design of the drone was, quote, "at best suspect and at worst fundamentally flawed," the judge said. This was a work in progress. The unmanned aerial vehicle and a mobile phone were seized when Al-Bard was arrested in January this year, leading to the discovery of encrypted online chats and other digital material, which exposed his support for IS. So it sounds like they tried to stop the sentencing at first. It says before sentence was passed, Al-Bard's barrister, Alistair Webster KC, applied unsuccessfully for the case to be adjourned for further consideration of psychiatric reports, saying he is not a person suited to being in prison. Mr. Webster said he is in a highly agitated state about the way things have gone. He finds the nature of some of the other prisoners extremely challenging. I'm actually surprised that's a defense per se to not go to things like prison, but either way, do you think this is appropriate, I guess, in terms of the punishment for this person? At the same time, it makes me wonder, will they actually fear, let's just say someone's 3D printing stuff to make a drone for racing or something like that? Will everyone be on extreme alert per se? They're gonna say it doesn't matter what you do, you gotta ban them all because people could potentially use it in a bad way per se. And with drones, I've often said you should worry about things like the military ones, not people flying toys, for example. But this was kind of interesting at first when I was looking at this, and you have to wonder, is this a, quote, I guess, artwork meant just to grab people's attention in terms of the traffic and all that? Or is it like a protest to say no military drones and so forth? This one says, London police investigate removal of Banksy drone stop sign. Detectives are investigating the removal of a Banksy artwork, London police said on Saturday. Witnesses took photos and recorded video of a man removing a red stop sign with 3 military drones on it. The artwork was located in the Peckman area of South London. Banksy is a pseudonym of a British street artist whose work has often taken aim at themes such as war. The sign was allegedly stolen shortly after the artist posted a photo of the artwork to his Instagram page. Makes you wonder, why was someone stealing this, for example? Did they think it's an actual real drone that can fly, for example? Or are they against the message that they think the art is supposed to be portraying per se? And there's just a bunch of posts, as they mentioned, like in social media, of people, I guess, taking the drone, apparently anyways. But from all this I'm reading, it sounded like people enjoyed it. There was no offense or anything. So again, it makes you wonder, why would someone take this down? Because even if you're trying to, let's just say, protest it, wouldn't that be a good way to, quote, protest it if that's the side you were on? Or at the same time, again, if you don't really care, I don't see why someone would take this down anyways, unless, again, they thought it's a real drone or something. And then I was reading this, which I thought was kind of interesting, which talked about the topic and how a lot of media nowadays are using AI to write their articles and so forth. Although from reading this, it almost makes me think too, a lot of the media does sound like just to say, quote, generic AI nowadays anyways. This one says, AI is already in the newsroom. For journalists who work or used to work at Geo Media, the disclaimer at the bottom of numerous articles on the company's e-commerce site, The Inventory, offers an unsettling vision of the future, saying, quote, "This article was generated by an AI engine which may produce inaccurate information." Can you imagine that now, where big sites, they're using AI to write, I guess, articles, and then you have that disclaimer? It says, that warning appears on every article credited to the Inventory bot, a highly productive virtual employee with his byline on 10 articles published on December 14th alone. It's absolutely the most inane way to announce that your article is trash, like pure garbage, says a former Geo writer who lost their job in a recent round of human employee layoffs. There's no thought process going on behind this except we want as many articles on our site as possible as quickly as possible, and we don't give a shit about the content. AGO spokesperson emphasizes that the Inventory is an e-commerce site separate and apart from our other editorial properties. The former Geo writer doesn't blame the advent of AI for his own layoff, but there have been some job losses at the company due to automation. The entire staff of Gizmodo on Espanol was replaced by a years-old translation tool in August, according to the spokesperson. Well, that's kind of harsh too. It makes you wonder, will people actually care or to do their research actually when they're reading stuff like this? Because most of the time people just search for headlines, for example, without actually reading or critically thinking about what they're reading. And with that thought of inaccuracy, it says here, quote, "These tools have a tendency to mess up, to get facts wrong, to hallucinate, to spread misinformation even when they think it's right," says Jack Brewster, enterprise editor for the watchguard organization NewsGuard. Generative AI is not quite there yet to be on autopilot, adds Brad Weiss, CEO of DataScribe, which has been using human-guided machine learning technology to generate hundreds of sports stories a week for outlets including the Associated Press, ESPN, and USA Today since 2018 or so, without causing any significant controversy. It just makes me surprised in many ways too on how many big media outlets and all are actually doing this already, and people actually aren't aware of it. But at the same time, do people actually care in general?
Begin, gentlemen.
Enjoy.
We have learned. We have done our
Okay,
best.
so
We've done a lot this year. Just pointing out. So think about it.
That's yours, I think.
that's the rice.
Oh,
Yeah, it has to be yours.
ooh.
Well, it is a lot of meat.
There's something gooey in there too.
Is
I think
it?
it's an egg.
Yeah, it is. It has to be.
Oh, fancy.
Is it? Oh, yeah. right. See you guys later.